Hello and welcome to Your Government in Action, a presentation of Bahamas Information Services. I'm Carissa Williamson. And in this special edition of Your Government in Action, we embark on a journey unpacking the government's actions throughout the year 2023. We're providing a recap of comprehensive coverage concerning the policies, politics, and pivotal moments that defined the year 2023. So stay tuned to this special edition of Your Government in Action, a year in review. The urgent call to address climate change resonated loudly in 2023, prompting government action and global collaboration. Under the leadership of Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis KC, who has been a champion of climate change initiatives, the government took significant strides to combat environmental challenges. On the global stage, 2023 witnessed an intricate dance of diplomacy that shaped the nation's position and alliances. We witnessed the government's addition to the tapestry of diplomatic relations through its approach to global relations, addressing alliances, conflicts, and the ever-shifting geopolitical landscape. Let's explore some key moments, negotiations, and international collaborations that defined the year. Prime Minister of Canada, the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau, announced that Canada will be giving $44.8 million in new funding to tackle the climate crisis in the Caribbean. Prime Minister Trudeau made the announcement at a special session at the 44th regular meeting of the CARICOM Heads of Government at Baha Mar Resort on February 16, 2023.
Canada has strong partnerships across the Caribbean community. We have for decades. Today has been a good opportunity to reinforce those solid foundations of our relationships, building on our shared priorities of economic growth, creating good jobs, meaningful climate action, and strengthening democracy. Today, we are announcing almost $45 million in new funding to support regional organizations that will improve disaster preparedness and climate resilience and support nature-based solutions to climate change, while protecting biodiversity in the Caribbean. I want to acknowledge their global leadership on climate action and reiterate Canada's continued support. We stand with you and will continue championing your voices around the world.
Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, and current Chair of CARICOM, the Honorable Philip Davis KC, co-hosted a multilateral U.S. Caribbean leaders meeting with Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, to discuss the way forward for safety and security, economic prosperity, and the ongoing climate crisis. The meeting took place at Atlantis Paradise Island Resort on June 8, 2023. Matt Mora has more.
Vice President Harris arrived in New Providence aboard Air Force Two at Odyssey Airport, where she was greeted by Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Public Service, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, Minister of Education and Technical and Vocational Training, the Honorable Glenys Hanna Martin, and the Minister of State for the Public Service, the Honorable Pierre Glover Roll. Following a brief ceremony that included a salute from the Honor Guard, Mrs. Harris was whisked to Atlantis Paradise Island for a bilateral with Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis KC and his delegation prior to the start of discussions with Caribbean leaders for what Prime Minister Davis called a real opportunity to make progress. Mr. Davis is chairman of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community.
Madam Vice President, I believe we all feel and appreciate the depth and sincerity of your commitment to the region and to our people. We will make the most of our time together, I'm sure. Indeed, our discussions will cover a broad range of issues: energy and food security, climate resilience, development finance and economic opportunity, and regional cooperation and security.
I will reiterate that our administration is committed to disrupt gun trafficking. We are committed to interdict shipments of arms and ammunition and hold traffickers accountable. And today I am pleased to announce that the United States Department of Justice will create a new position, a coordinator for Caribbean firearms prosecutions, which will help maximize information sharing between our countries to support the prosecution of traffickers. And today it is my pleasure to announce additional PAC 2030 investments. One, specifically, a $20 million investment in the Caribbean Climate Investment Program. to help incentivize the private sector to partner with Caribbean nations to develop more clean energy technologies like micro energy storage systems, and to help businesses become more energy efficient in their operations. And second, a $15 million investment to support emergency response efforts and strengthen the capacity of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency.
President of the Republic of Botswana, His Excellency Dr. Mugwitsi Mazizi, and his delegation made an official visit to the Bahamas from September 12th to the 15th, 2023. In a joint press conference held on September 14, 2023, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis KC, and President Mazizi said that the visit was a roaring success as it allowed both countries to engage in fruitful exchange.
Today stands as a testament to the strength and potential of international relations as we in the Bahamas warmly welcome the President of Botswana and his delegation. Not merely an official visit, but the growth of a deeply rooted friendship between our nations.
You might wish to begin by pardoning us, because it's surely going to sound like it's a meeting of a mutual admiration society. Because I echo the words of the Right Honourable Prime Minister in total. For those of you who may not know, Botswana and the Bahamas began their diplomatic relations in the year 2006. It was led by the British prior to independence, and so we became members of the Commonwealth. We're both members of the United Nations system and other organizations of common interest. We both have a legal framework that's born out of Roman Dutch law. We both are committed to the separation of powers. We both are committed to democratic dispensation. We both are committed to the rule of law. We both have a public service that was structured very much out of the British Foreign Service system. We both have adopted English, not our native tongue, but English as a medium of instruction and official language. And so it stands to reason that the common values we share may in some part have been informed and influenced by our past histories.
As we delve into the intricate world of labor relations, our journey through the year 2023 unveils a series of approximately 22 negotiated and concluded labor agreements. The government, cognizant of the pivotal role workers play in our society, actively contributed to fostering conducive environments for negotiations and dialogue. From policy adjustments and negotiations that shape the rights of workers to promotions that celebrated professional accomplishments, we highlight the dynamic interplay between the government, employees, and employers in the year 2023. After a month of negotiations, the Bahamas Government Workers Union and the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute came to an amicable agreement and signed a Memorandum of Understanding on March 1st, 2023.
This is a wonderful day. BTVI is one of the most important institutions right now in the further progress of our nation. It is the agency that is and will, as we move forward in the days, weeks, and months ahead, will have responsibility for ensuring our young people are equipped and technically sound so that they can participate meaningfully in our economy, such that we see now we're having to issue work permits for people in this country, and a lot of young people are out of work and feeling frustrated. And BTVI is the key to the advancement of our young people in the technical and vocational fields, and also for the future of our economy.
Protocol has already been established, and the minister would have spoken. My namesake, Linda Davis, Acting President, yours truly, Linda Sands, Acting President for the Bahamas General Workers Union. And she would have already spoken to some of the things that the staff at BTVI would have gotten through this industrial agreement. I just want to go a little further to say that they are going to be receiving up to 2.5% merit pays. Okay? There's also an increase at the signing of this industrial agreement. People like to hear money. They also have a cost of living in this agreement, additional duties allowance of $300 once you would have worked for 5 days or more. They have that additional $300 to their salaries. They have uniform allowance. They have a risk allowance for security. They have 2 15-minute breaks. All, and I say all, outstanding merit pays for eligible members will be awarded once this agreement has been signed.
A 3-year, $1.8 million industrial agreement was signed between the Bahamas Air Navigation Services Authority and the Bahamas Air Traffic Controllers Union at the Office of the Prime Minister on August 28, 2023.
We recently launched a national strategic plan for the aviation sector, and it happened with the collaboration of all stakeholders. I am on record as saying that aviation is the oxygen that tourism needs, and what's good for tourism is good for the economy. What's good for the economy is good for the people of the Bahamas. Today's signing ceremony represents the culmination of more than a year of persistent and sometimes intense negotiations between management and the union. However, I can attest to the fact that both parties would agree that the new industrial agreement affords increased benefits and conditions to union members. It is a recognition of the key role that air traffic controllers play at the gateway of our country and our economy. The new 3-year agreement, which is effective June 1, 2022, replaces a 5-year agreement that was in place since June 2017 and covers the 117 employees who are part of the union's bargaining unit.
In a press conference held at the Office of the Prime Minister on September 21, 2023, newly appointed Minister of Labor and the Public Service, the Honorable Pia Glover-Roll, provided further details on the current work and upcoming initiatives to be implemented by the ministry.
I previously worked with the Department of Labor, and I'm also an experienced certified labor advocate. So my labor portfolio doesn't represent altogether new experience for me. In fact, I'm happy to return to the Department of Labor. Every day since my appointment, I've met with labor leaders and stakeholders who have briefed me, identified areas of opportunity that we should target, and of course these areas are the ones that are creating the biggest impact on the lives of Bahamians. Over at the Public Service, labor relations has always been a priority for me and for our team. And of course, our government has successfully negotiated 23 labor agreements in 23 months after years of no progress with our industrial agreements. So I'd like to take the opportunity to thank our labor relations unit at the Ministry of the Public Service, as well as the local union leaders for being partners in empowering Bahamian workers.
In the realm of travel and exploration, 2023 ushered in a wave of changes and innovations within the tourism sector. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, touted a groundbreaking number of over 8 million visitors to the country this year, the largest number recorded. The government, recognizing the economic and cultural significance of tourism as the revamping of the industry was a pointed focus in the Blueprint for Change, played a pivotal role in driving positive transformations. From infrastructural improvements to heads of agreement signings, government initiatives positioned our nation as an enticing and welcoming haven for travelers worldwide. The government of the Bahamas signed a heads of agreement with Samson Key Retreat Limited at the Office of the Prime Minister on March 13, 2023, that will commence the development of a high-end, low-impact resort in Exuma.
Samson Key, located just north of Staniel Key, will be transformed into a $25 million environmentally friendly boutique resort and marina, generating numerous jobs for Bahamians during the construction phase and further employment opportunities once operational. The project is self-financed by permanent resident and philanthropist, Mr. Robert Coughlin. We'll see the revitalization of existing structures on island, the upgrade of the airstrip, and the creation of state-of-the-art marina. These enhancements will be executed exclusively by Bahamian contractors and architects, demonstrating Mr. Coughlin's commitment to investing in the people of this nation.
And so along the way, when I built my business, I really focused on a few things that were guiding principles. And for me down here, I have 3 or 4 things that guide me. One of them is cultural preservation. I've become fascinated with meeting elders and the history and how things happened here in the Bahamas. Another is youth development. I believe I'm here today because I had mentors who got me here and because I had experiences, hands-on experiences in environment, in business, and others. And the third is conservation. And along the way, I was on the board of the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Gardens now for almost 20 years. I have a daughter who's a senior environmental science major at Colorado State. And in the Exumas, I have chickens now. I've experienced permaculture. On the waters and on the land, that learning experience energizes me. And what I see is the opportunity through this resort, not just the table stakes of building a great experience for guests when they come to experience the waters of Exuma, as we always talk about, but to create a place where artists, a space where artists can come and be part of that experience, where we can grow things on the island and always serve the guests something that was grown on the island and grown in a permaculture kind of way.
Further development to improve tourism and the economy in Exuma as the government of the Bahamas signed a heads of agreement with Cave Key Limited developers at the Office of the Prime Minister on March 20th, 2023. According to Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, KC, the project illustrates the government's interest in bolstering tourism and the brand of the Bahamas.
It demonstrates the efforts that we're putting into expanding and diversifying the tourism product, and it also, again, marks the expression of confidence that the international community is having in our brand. And I want to thank the developers for their continued confidence. We look forward to this project coming on stream and adding again to the inventory of luxury resorts, an exciting experience for our tourism.
The CEO of Cave Key Limited, Felipe MacLean, praised the government for its support and dedication to this partnership to maintain Exuma's growth and development.
This is a very important date for us. We're very excited to be here. It's been a long journey, but I want to thank you all for your commitment, your professionalism, and the efficiency of this government that I truly believe is really remarkable.
Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis, KC, brought the keynote address at the official opening ceremony of the Nassau Cruise Port in downtown Nassau. Prime Minister Davis said the port's completion will ensure that the country stands proudly as a premier international cruise gateway, welcoming visitors with open arms.
Prime Minister Davis said the cruise port's opening signaled a new beginning for the city of Nassau, promising a prosperous and sustainable future for all Bahamians, while serving as a catalyst for the wider development of downtown Nassau. The opening, Mr. Davis said, further signaled the first step in the reimagination of downtown Nassau. It is envisioned that the area will become more than just a bustling cruise destination, but indeed the entertainment center of New Providence, augmented with commercial and residential offerings that will provide numerous opportunities for Bahamian ownership and employment, with more than 70 local businesses occupying the space.
This transformation will breathe new life into the heart of our city as we move forward. With our ongoing plans for redevelopment, we will redefine how visitors and locals alike interact with the downtown area in fundamental ways. Bay Street and the surrounding area should be grounded in the Bahamian experience in ways that demonstrate the best elements of our culture, our people, and our way of life. The port is a testament to this vision. This extensive $300 million redevelopment project expands our capacity and enhances our offerings.
Mr. Davis said the port incorporates environmental sustainability in key areas, reflecting a strong commitment to protecting the environment while growing the economy. The inclusion of a 1.5 megawatt solar facility to provide sustainable generated power to the port is in line with the administration's ongoing efforts to recommit the Bahamas to a minimum reliance on renewable energy of 30% by the year 2030.
A groundbreaking ceremony for a new airport was held in Cat Island on March 23, 2023. The multi-million-dollar project is a part of a larger initiative to increase investments and revitalize the island.
The new airport is a very big and very important investment in the people and future of this special island. As a Tier 2 airport, it will serve as a port of entry with customs and immigration services and will be equipped with a state-of-the-art fire station. The design is modern and sustainable, featuring solar panels, smart lighting, and rainwater collection. Our history and culture will be on full display as well, with regatta-inspired decorations and multiple opportunities for local entrepreneurs to exhibit their products. A new airport, my friends, means much more than increased travel capacity for Cat Island. The infrastructural upgrade promises to attract new investments, revitalize old industries, and inspire new ones.
Education is the bedrock of progress, and in 2023, the government made significant strides in shaping the future through educational reforms. In this segment, we explore how the government's initiatives in education laid the groundwork for a more inclusive, innovative, and knowledge-driven future. The Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training held a press conference on January 26 to release the official report for the Teachers Morale Committee.
Ladies and gentlemen, upon assuming office in September of 2021, I have been intent on determining the means by which we can enhance the level of achievement of our students, permitting them to self-actualize, to gain meaningful and fulfilling employment, and to lead happy and contented lives, and to even exceed their own expectations. It has become abundantly clear to me that while we all have a shared responsibility for the positive development of our children, particularly our parents and guardians, and to a lesser extent, civil society, our potential for assisting our students depends fundamentally upon the empowerment and well-being of those persons who are the linchpin of our education sector on the front line, and indeed the linchpin of a well-ordered society, our teachers. We know that the value which our teachers bring to our education product is unquestioned, and we know that but for the input of our teachers, many of our students will not develop to their full potential. But we also know that teachers cannot give what they do not have. It is for this reason that we must pour into them, so that they can in turn pour into their students. We are therefore very encouraged as we begin the next leg of our journey, the implementation of the Teachers Morale Committee report. Today we are announcing this committee, and we seek to find the solutions, improve conditions, allay concerns, and more importantly, to provide for the enhancement and improvement of the teaching profession.
The lockdowns and shutdowns due to the COVID-19 pandemic have significantly contributed to learning loss in the school system, according to the Minister of Education and Technical and Vocational Training, the Honorable Glenys Hanna Martin. And to combat this learning loss, according to the minister, the ministry has accumulated data to assess the degree of learning loss, particularly in public schools.
Over the last several days, we have engaged stakeholders nationally. We've met with thousands, literally thousands of stakeholders, administrators, unions, teachers, parents. The intent of this very important exercise is to test, measure, and design acceleration programs. This will allow, the data will allow our teachers in the classroom to have the empirical data as to where each individual child is placed, and to designate remediation or acceleration programs based upon the outcome of those tests. This project will create a powerful paradigm shift in our children's learning, and we believe this will not only address learning loss, but it will redress historical learning gaps that are occurring nationwide.
Minister of Education and Technical and Vocational Training, the Honorable Glenys Hanna Martin, announced the pilot phase of a collaborative initiative that seeks to assist students at various schools around the Bahamas. Minister Hanna Martin provided further details on the National School Breakfast Program in a press conference held at the Office of the Prime Minister on September 21st, 2023.
We're very pleased today to announce finally, after much groundwork and collaboration between the Ministry of Education, the Office of the Prime Minister, the first ever rollout of the National Breakfast Program in pilot form. We are confident that this program, as it rolls out in its pilot form, will cater to approximately 2,500 children in primary schools throughout the nation. In New Providence, those schools are Columbus Primary, Ridgeland Primary, Sandilands Primary, and Albury Sales Primary. And in the islands, the schools that are going to be testing this program are Rollville Primary in Exuma, Holmes Rock Primary in Grand Bahama, Cherokee Sound Primary in Abaco, and Old Bight Primary in Cat Island. Now, the selection process of schools was carefully designed because the whole purpose is to test the outcomes and the efficacy of this program. And the schools were chosen based on data as to potential student challenges. And they targeted schools that had populations below 600 and where attendance rates were below 89.2% in the primary schools. The purpose will be to provide free breakfast to all students, not a select few. Currently, the lunch program is for targeted students, but the breakfast program in these schools will cater to all students attending those schools 3 days a week. Those days will be Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays. And we will be providing hot, nutritious meals on those days. And those meals have been designed in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and the caterers to ensure that what we are delivering is not just food, but nutritious meals, first thing for these students 3 days a week. And the reason why those days were chosen, and of course we're testing it, it's a pilot, which is Monday, Thursday, and Friday, is because it's anticipated or it's projected that in many families there may be deficits to access to food on a weekend. And so the Monday when they return and the Friday before the weekend begins.
In a somber moment that echoed through the political landscape, 2023 marked the passing of the late Honorable Obadiah Wilchcombe, a determined figure in our nation's political history. Join us as we remember and reflect on the indelible mark left by the late Honorable Obadiah Wilchcombe and the collective mourning of a nation for a leader who believed in one love.
When it came, the news of the sudden passing of the Honorable Obadiah Wilchcombe, it was a profound shock to our nation. To lose a serving cabinet minister is thankfully a rare occasion in our history. But our collective feelings run far more deeply than that offered because of his job and title. Here was a man, seemingly in his prime, who was still at the forefront of the cut and thrust of politics. He was a man who was fresh from having successfully piloted through Parliament the long-anticipated legislation to introduce greater protections against violence. And here was a man who is now on the cusp of introducing laws to effect greater gender equality in our Bahamas. Here was a man who still had so very much more to offer. State occasions such as these allow for national mourning and expressions of grief. We come together to celebrate the lives of our statesmen and women, to offer appreciation for their contribution and reflect a little on the lessons taught by lives that dedicated so much to public service.
Leading up to the state funeral for the late Honorable Obadiah Wilchcomb, the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, in conjunction with the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation and the Department of Urban Development, held a memorial service for the late minister at Baha Mar on October 11, 2023.
And one of the most rewarding and enduring experiences was during the time when he chaired the WAM meeting. I said to him, why you want to chair this woman meeting? He said, listen, what I tell you, you do what I say. You don't do what you think I should do. I said, yes, sir. He said, well, use the co-chair. I said, but I see that on the paper. You don't worry, just go with what I say. He did that. He said, and that can make me feel better. And so we worked along with the WAM. And I just watched him navigate that whole thing. He said, I did this before. I did a lot of conferences in tourism. This is a small thing. You know, and I started panicking. I said, look, like, this ain't gonna work out. He said, listen, this can work out. This can work out. He called it. Sharon Martin, he called. Listen, I have never seen so much committees in my life in one conference. But it worked. They had over 30 countries came here to the Bahamas to host an event that he chaired.
The Honorable Obadiah Wilchcomb, known for his commitment to social justice and his distinguished background in journalism, passed away on September 25, 2023, leaving behind a legacy that will be remembered for generations to come. On behalf of Bahamas Information Services, we extend our deepest condolences to his family, friends, colleagues, and the entire nation. Minister Wilchcomb exemplified determination, kindness, and an unrelenting commitment to fostering a more equitable society. As we mourn this great loss, we remember his vision for a better Bahamas and the profound impact he had on our country. The Honorable Obadiah Wilchcomb's legacy of service will forever be etched in the history of our nation. Recognizing the complexities of immigration concerns, the government undertook a comprehensive project aimed at balancing security concerns and human rights. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis KC, made the announcement on this project, Operation Secure. Following discussions at the 44th regular meeting of CARICOM heads of government concerning the crisis in Haiti, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis KC, outlined strategies and initiatives for the administration's national policy framework for immigration in a national address on February 19, 2023.
In today's interconnected world, many of the most serious and complex challenges we face here at home have their origin abroad. Guns manufactured in America are used to commit crimes here. Viruses pay no mind to international borders. Monetary policy and supply chain problems elsewhere lead to a global inflation crisis that affects Bahamian consumers. The most severe consequences of climate change often occur in countries who have polluted the least. A war on the other side of the globe leads to higher energy prices everywhere. Crisis and instability in other countries do not stay contained in those countries. Because so many of our most serious problems originate abroad, we must work together with other nations to solve them. Last week, the Caribbean heads of government worked together on initiatives to improve climate finance and to strengthen food security in the region. We also spent a significant portion of the conference focused on the migration crisis that is affecting many countries, but disproportionately impacting the islands closest to Haiti and Cuba. As many of you know, the situation in Haiti, unfortunately, continues to deteriorate. The pillars of the CARICOM plan to address the Haitian migration crisis include coordinating a meeting with Haitian stakeholders to develop a plan to restore security and the rule of law, strengthening the capacity of the Haitian National Police, developing a plan to hold elections and restore a fully functioning Haitian government, and securing support from the international partners, including the Canadian government, which has committed to providing security assistance as well as millions of dollars in humanitarian assistance. In the coming weeks, the details of these pillars will continue to be developed with regional leaders. This is important because stabilizing the situation in Haiti is the most effective way to decrease the number of potential economic migrants to the Bahamas each day. I've been very clear with our international friends that assistance to Haiti must be carried out carefully and strategically, and with an acknowledgement of the burden the Bahamas is already carrying and has been carrying for decades. Our country has been through a lot. We have very serious challenges and limited resources with which to face these challenges. We are a compassionate people, but we cannot take on new burdens. That is why, last June, at the Summit of Americas held in Los Angeles, I declined to sign a pledge that included a commitment to take on refugees, while 21 other countries in our hemisphere, including fellow Caribbean nations like Barbados and Jamaica, signed on to this agreement. I declined. Our small nation cannot possibly shoulder any more of a burden. Where cooperation is possible, we will welcome all the help we can get, whether through our work with regional and international partners or through major NGOs whom we will invite to support Operation Secure by providing humanitarian help. We pledge to conduct our efforts swiftly and humanely.
Ensuring the safety and security of the nation is a primary responsibility. And in 2023, the government's focus on national security covered firearms and anti-gang initiatives and extended to the ever-evolving landscape of cybersecurity.
Prime Minister Davis said criminal activity, illegal weapon smuggling, and gang-related activities are critical issues that affect the safety and security of citizens. The Prime Minister said his administration will take every step to prevent the smuggling of illegal firearms into the country, which he said also inspires gangs to become more criminally active. The launch comes on the heels of the Prime Minister's recent visit to Washington, D.C., USA, where he held discussions on a number of matters.
Recently, I had the opportunity to meet with the Vice President, Kamala Harris, to discuss ways to partner with the United States government in this critical fight. I'm pleased to report that we have made significant progress in our discussions and are committed to working together to prevent the flow of illegal weapons into our country. The United States is a close ally and a valuable partner in our efforts to combat crime and violence. With their help, we can enhance our ability to track and intercept illegal firearms and increase our capacity to bring those responsible to justice. Today, we celebrate the opening of the Anti-Gang Firearms Task Force Unit. This is a momentous occasion, as it represents our continued commitment to the safety and security of our citizens and to focus on intercepting and preventing the illegal trade of firearms.
The Firearm and Anti-Gang Task Force Unit will be comprised of experts from across the country's national security and law enforcement spectrum, including the police and defense forces, Bahamas Customs and Immigration Departments, and the Department of Inland Revenue, working in collaboration with global partners, the United States Embassy Nassau and its partners, the United States Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, ATF, and the United States Department of Homeland Security. Prime Minister Davis said collaboration is an essential component of success in the war on criminal activity, the illegal smuggling of weapons trade, and gang activity.
The cybersecurity sector saw further development as a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the Security Operations Center of the National Computer Incident Response Team of the Bahamas, or CERT, was held on December 13, 2023.
To speak to the minister's point, we are a member of CSERT Americas. Just last week, we got the approval to be. So we will have that intelligence data as well. And also, just to add in another plug on some amazing things, we are a FIRST fellow. So FIRST is the organization that certifies all national certs and SOCs. And we had the good fortune of being the first in the Caribbean, actually, to be a FIRST fellow. So hooray to us.
The quest for affordable and quality housing remains a pressing concern for many, and making affordable housing available was a noted goal in the Blueprint for Change. In 2023, one of the ways the government addressed these challenges head-on was through the establishment of Renaissance, a new residential development in the Carmichael Road area.
In our Blueprint for Change, we promise to empower Bahamians by making our economy work for all Bahamians. Under our Homes for Bahamians program, we committed to housing as a basic right and to pursue public-private partnerships to develop new subdivisions. The Renaissance at Carmichael Village is a fulfillment of our pledge. Home ownership is one of the basic forms of human empowerment and allows for the creation of a sense of community. These homes will serve as a place for family gatherings. The yard space will provide for a place for children to play, and neighbors will be able to come together and interact as our families were able to many years ago. Investing in infrastructure that supports and fosters a sense of belonging and normalcy in the lives of everyday Bahamians is important to safeguarding and protecting our people.
Bahamians must own more of our economy. We are determined to create more Bahamian homeowners, more Bahamian business owners, and more Bahamian investment and innovation throughout our economy. That is how we are going to build a more inclusive and a more prosperous and a more secure Bahamas.
Food security was another major goal highlighted in the Blueprint for Change. This year, strategic policies, new agricultural practices, and community-driven initiatives were introduced to ensure that the agricultural industry in the Bahamas progresses to become more secure and sustainable. The government advanced its green economy by supporting and empowering farmers and strengthening the foundation of food security in the Bahamas. Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, Bahamas Ambassador to the FAO, His Excellency Winston Pinnock, and other senior government officials held side meetings with the Assistant Director General and Regional Representative for the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, Mr. Mario Lubetkin, and his delegation, while attending the 44th regular meeting of the CARICOM Heads of Government.
Mr. Sweeting said a key component of the government's plan is through the implementation of a national food policy for the Bahamas that will, among other measures, ensure that Bahamians who farm locally are able to import items duty-free and receive concessions. The end result, he said, will be a win-win situation for the local farmers and the Bahamian public, who can then purchase healthy, local produce at better costs.
When I speak about this national food policy, it's a way to ensure that Bahamians who farm locally are able to import stuff duty-free, are able to receive concessions so that they can be competitive in the marketplace. So for us at the ministry, we're trying to find ways to ensure that local produce are cheaper for Bahamians to buy. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to choose between a healthy meal and something that's cheaper, a lot of times Bahamians would choose the cheaper option. So it's an economic thing for us in the Bahamas. So for us, over the next few months, we're going to be launching initiatives. We're also launching a big initiative in the next 10 days, which would help expand on one niche in our market to ensure that at least one aspect would be cheaper for Bahamians, would be local, would be organic, to ensure that at least as we carve out one niche at a time, hopefully over a period of years, we're able to carve a healthy market out for Bahamians.
Ambassador Pinnock said enhancing food production, ensuring food security, reducing food costs while reducing reliance on imports are in line with the Davis administration's commitment to achieving greater food security. He applauded the FAO for its assistance to the Bahamas, adding that while the FAO is not a funding organization, it has aided the Bahamas in a number of tangible ways.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs, in conjunction with the Bahamas Agricultural Industrial Corporation, held a groundbreaking ceremony on February 27, 2023, for an opportunity that for many Bahamians will prove to be an exciting golden opportunity.
Well, I'm delighted to stand before you today to mark this historic groundbreaking for the Golden Yoke Project. Historic because it represents one of the first steps in a marathon toward a more resilient, self-reliant Bahamas. It has long been lamented that as a nation, we import too much of our food, 90% to be precise. Past administrations have marched around the issue, and yet the number still stands tall. My friends, that all changes now. Today, I declare that that figure is destined to fall faster than the walls of Jericho. We are ushering in a new age of agriculture, an age of promise and prosperity, an age where we make the most of what we have in the most sustainable manner possible. This is especially important for low and middle income families who are disproportionately affected by ballooning inflation on imported foodstuffs.
The ministry, through the Department of Agriculture, has recently purchased livestock for breeding and distribution to farmers. We have revived the layer program and are in the process of renovating our swine breeding centers and kidding barns, and are in continuous effort to onboard additional technical staff and support staff as our investment in agriculture remains focused. However, through this partnership with BAIC, the Golden Yoke Project will usher in the revival of the egg production in this country. We are going to empower layer producers, establish increased job creation and entrepreneurial opportunities, increase family island development, and the creation of generational wealth for Bahamians.
Health, now more than ever, stands as a cornerstone of societal well-being. In 2023, the government, as promised in the Blueprint for Change, made substantial strides in the health sector, introducing infrastructure and collaborating with international health organizations to enhance the health sector in the Bahamas. A groundbreaking and contract signing ceremony took place in Freeport, Grand Bahama on May 16, 2023, that will commence the first phase of a three-phase project, a new hospital facility on the island.
Today is an extraordinary day for residents of Grand Bahama and the city of Freeport. I am thrilled to be present for this momentous occasion. In just a few minutes, we will commence the groundbreaking of the Freeport Health Campus, initiating the construction of a groundbreaking outpatient and urgent care facility that will cater to the needs of Grand Bahamians and the Northern Bahamians residents for generations yet to come. It is particularly noteworthy that this endeavor begins during a year when Bahamians nationwide and around the globe commemorate the golden anniversary of our national independence. This significant juncture in our nation's history offers an opportunity for introspection on the remarkable progress we have achieved in terms of our development, culture, and economy. Moreover, it inspires us to envision the future and the considerable distance we have yet to traverse. For Grand Bahamians, this groundbreaking comes in the wake of exceedingly difficult times. The unprecedented destruction of Dorian, with its tragic loss of life and property, decimated public infrastructure on this island, including essential public health infrastructure. The Rand Memorial Hospital and virtually all community clinics sustained catastrophic damage. The Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Public Hospital Authority, along with their many international local partners and donors, deserve public recognition and commendation for all that has been done to rebuild and restore health facilities and health services here on Grand Bahama.
The opening ceremony for the Caribbean Public Health Agency, or CARPHA's, 67th Annual Health Research Conference was held at Atlantis Paradise Island Resort on April 27, 2023, under the theme Caribbean Health and Tourism, Pathways to Recovery and Resilience.
Ladies and gentlemen, most countries represented here today have a common challenges and opportunities for the impacts of health and tourism to our local economies. That was demonstrated a few days ago when we met in the region as well as with all of the stakeholders here in the Bahamas. It is also further recognized that any successful plan to promote health and wellness among local residents and visitors in the manner that secures and protects continuous economic growth must be incorporated multi-sectorial, and this is being demonstrated here today at this CARPHA's conference. Caribbean governments should strive to ensure that both residents and visitors have equitable access to healthcare services, safe food, proper water resources, proper environmental and sanitation standards.
This year's theme, Caribbean Health and Tourism, Pathways to Recovery and Resilience, sends three messages to the world. The Caribbean is open for business. We learned lessons during the pandemic and we are applying them. We are making sure we are prepared for health trials going forward, and we are involving sectors in that preparation.
And now we turn our gaze up north to reflect on the stories that have defined and shaped the communities under the watchful eye of our Northern Service.
The Davis administration was moving full speed ahead with several projects already in the pipeline, as residents in East Grand Bahama saw the fruits of countless days of planning and labor by the Disaster Reconstruction Authority under the Home Repair Project, designed to get displaced homeowners back into their homes. The island also witnessed the $4 million upgrade to the Pelican Bay Hotel with 48 newly renovated suites, a move Tourism Investments and Aviation Minister, the Honorable Chester Cooper, was excited about, as it came as the government was about to launch tech tourism and pitch Grand Bahama as an innovation center in Canada, with the hope of attracting techies to the island. Deputy Prime Minister Cooper also noted that such an investment by the 182-room hotel spoke to the confidence it has in the Grand Bahama economy and the tourism industry. A number of firsts were also being witnessed on the island of Abaco, with the groundbreaking for Montage Key and the residences at Montage Key, a significant jolt to the island's economic rebirth after Dorian and COVID-19. With an investment fund of $352.2 million for the project, which includes 6 overwater bungalows, 18 villas, 29 residential lots, and other amenities, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis noted at the groundbreaking that Montage Key was the 8th project in the Montage collection of projects. Such projects, he noted, are important for diversifying our tourism portfolio and ensuring that our tourism and luxury product remains vibrant and competitive. Having dubbed Grand Bahama as the home of events and entertainment and a sporting paradise, Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, predicted that the 2023 Island Relays Bahamas Invitational would bring a major economic boost to the island. The international event was held at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex and featured track and field competitions among collegiate athletes from the United States and the Bahamas. More than 500 athletes and coaches from colleges and universities from throughout the United States flew in for the event. And while he knows his government must continue to do even more if it wishes to recapture Grand Bahama's charm, Prime Minister Davis is optimistic, like Minister Wilchcombe, that there is a brighter future ahead for the people of Grand Bahama.
In commemorating the monumental 50th Golden Jubilee of our beloved nation throughout the year under the theme, One Nation, Our Legacy, Our Future, a multitude of celebratory events unfolded, painting a vibrant display of national pride and unity. Among the standout moments, the Golden Jubilee Ecumenical Service Military Tattoo and Cultural Show stood as a pinnacle showcasing the strength and resilience of the Bahamian spirit. However, this was just one chapter in a year-long calendar of festivities and commemorations that marked this historic milestone. Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
Now the unveiling of the official logo of the 50th anniversary celebration of the independence of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
I have taken the liberty to not just welcome you to tonight's unveiling, but to welcome you to the year of our 50th Jubilee. I can assure you, Bahamas, that we are expected to have a grand celebration from now until July 2024. A year and a half of activities that encompasses all that we've accomplished and all we hope to achieve in the next 50 years and beyond.
Bahamas, that island started raking spray, Bahamas. Happy Independence, Bahamas. Happy anniversary, Bahamas. Happy Independence, Bahamas. Golden anniversary, Bahamas. Nassau is the capital, Bahamas. Bimini is the gateway, Bahamas. 1492, Columbus landed. 1973, we were free. Jungle do on day 3, Bahamas. They go to church on Sunday, Bahamas. Come solid on the weekend, Bahamas. Catching private address, Bahamas. Happy Independence, Bahamas. Happy anniversary, Bahamas. Happy Independence, Bahamas. Golden anniversary, Bahamas. One nation, under the sun. We love our legacy, our history. Our rituals, bright and clear. We salute, remain in flight. Happy Independence, Bahamas. Happy anniversary, Bahamas. Happy Independence, Bahamas. Golden anniversary.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Carissa Williamson with Bahamas Information Services, and this has been a special edition of Your Government in Action, a year in review. Stay tuned with us in 2024, where we continue to bring you highlights, coverage, and information as we also continue to do what we do best, linking people and government.